Wow, you're welcome to the show, Voters Forum, and I'm the host of the program. And my name is Wale Ogunade. This is a good time, a wonderful time. We in Christendom call it the time of resurrection. And I pray that anything dead in your life will resurrect. Positive things, things that you have been planning and dreaming that they have died or they have been abandoned, they will all come to life by the resurrection power of Jesus Christ. You're welcome to the show. Today we have a wonderful topic, and equally we have a great guest, somebody who will deal with the situation very well. We decided to get him because if he does not put him out, the thing will go finish. And that's why we've called our guest. I'm going to invite him now. But before then, I will relate with my co-host, who has been under the weather, and we've been praying that God will bring her above the weather. And she's here at Gidigba. She did campaign, just as my people will say, she full ground. You are welcome.
Thank you so much, sir. It's good to be here again. It's an amazing one. I've missed the program, of course, and I've missed you all that keep watching and following us on all our social media pages. My name is Rose Blossom. Of course, you're welcome to Voters Forum. Here we give you the gist when it comes to the economy, Nigeria, the state, and of course, your rights. It's not just about being a voter, it's also more than that. It's being a citizen. And of course, you can follow us on all the social media pages at Galaxy Television, Instagram, Facebook, and of course on Twitter. You can also download our app, Galaxy Television app, from Google Play Store and Apple Play Store, so you do not miss any of our live programs. And you're welcome again.
Yes, they are welcome, but you have not greeted them for the season.
Oh, yes. It's a season to remember. We have two seasons. We have the Ramadan, and of course, we have the Easter season. So I will say happy Ramadan, and at the same time, happy Easter in advance.
Yes, and I will preach protocol. It will be fair for us to be greeting people for the season.
And the guests.
We abandon our guests and leave it. Really. My brother, Evans Ofili is not a new face on this program. He's an activist par excellence. He's somebody whose voice is very, very loud and clear. And that's why I said earlier on that if you no put in mouth, the thing no go settle. And Evans, you're welcome to the show.
It's good to have you again.
Good
morning, thank you.
People want to hear from you about what do you have for them, for the Easter? Maybe we should come and get some politics on you.
Yes, in the spirit of resurrection.
Yes.
We are going to talk about how the economy can be resurrected. Yes, because this is the era of life and living. Everything dead about our economy, about our country, about our collective aspirations and dreams must come to life by, the power of God. And so it is about solution. Right now, the government have...
No, it's okay. Just break. You activists now.
He was already jumping into it already. Okay, I just want to ask Evans. Let me ask this now. What do you, of course, over the years...
You two don't start something.
No. I'm just talking about Ramadan and Easter now. We've seen over the years how the celebration of Ramadan always, tease people and, make people jolly. And of course, when it comes to Easter too, there's always this celebration in the air. Now, compare all the years to this year. What difference have you noticed in this celebration?
Well, except that if you are spiritually minded enough, you will know that Easter is not about material things. It's about the death and resurrection of Christ. So it's an era of sober reflection, a time of sober reflection. For first, those who profess Christianity, the Christian faith, and by extension to every lovers of humankind and humanity, that we must at this point in time reflect why we celebrate. It's not a time for mourning either, but it's a time for sober reflection. Whilst we reflect on our lives, we reflect on the economy of the country and all that, then we begin to take them and put them into perspective. That perhaps the last Easter was far economically, materially speaking. Perhaps people were better off in their economic positions, but we yearn that through the spirit of resurrection, because we are talking about a decline in the economy, a decline in lifestyle because of the cost and price.
Yes. Things.
So that let this period be the period where we unite in faith. Okay, unite in faith for the super sensible. and unite in faith for a physical realm and call forth for a change. Whether the change is going to start from the subterranean view or from the horizontal government view or from the vertical heavens, let everything open for the good of mankind.
But Stefan has finished this question.
You know, I told you make you no go there. As you come go now, what I go do? You know, say I just dey look you. Wetin I go do? You people now see me so. You now see my life for outside. You now see my life, but be that as it may. Yeah. That's why that's the typical Evans for you, and that's the typical activist. In fact, let me just tell you people. Some few days ago, I was at an event. It's an activist event, and I really want to appreciate the government the person who represented the Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, Honorable Stephen Ogundipe. I guess that's his name, Stephen Ogundipe. He came there, and of course, he made his remarks, and of course, the chairman of the event, who is Debo Adeniran, a co-activist, now said I should react. I should not explain what he said, or just because he wanted to while away some time. Trust us, trust me now. I now went and started tearing. Man, no. Debo now called me and said, no, you activists don't come. I didn't say you should do activism. Just don't make comments. Just make your, not even comment, just expatiate on what he has said. Add more, or I said no. Me no feel can't do that kind of thing now. My own me the activist, I don't be government man. Yeah. So really, that's typical activist in Evans, and you can be sure that you are just seeing a tip of the iceberg. After the mini future, when we come back, you go hear the better side we remain. Don't go away. Tell your people, Voters Forum is on, and of course, the team they gidigba on ground. Full house now. Before Rose no day. Now Rose don't come back. She's fresh. You saw her. The trait of being freshness, she started tearing. We know how ritual we go. She don't start. Don't go away. We will soon be back.
In Africa, Nigeria faces a tumultuous economic outlook and low levels of inclusive development, with life expectancy as birth for Nigeria hovering at 52.7 years. The critical challenges facing the Nigerian economy is the lead-up to the 2023 national elections need key recommendations for reforms, which goes beyond ending petrol subsidies by boosting tax revenue, tackling corruption at the ports, and scaling up social investment programs to help address extreme poverty. Of course, there are several other things that need to be done to revamp our economy, which should start with government to make drastic cuts in the cost of governance, reduce the deficit, and strengthen the economic fundamentals of the country. Government should enhance education and vocational training to build the skilled workforce that can meet the demands of a growing and diversified economy, to help improve healthcare services and public health, and increase the labor force productivity by reducing health-related costs. The most effective response to Nigeria's current economic hardship is a collaborative effort between well-to-do individuals and the government. The government should create an enabling environment for philanthropic activities, offering incentives to encourage private sector support for social causes and promote increased labor supply, capital supply, productivity, and personal savings can help to reduce inflationary pressures. Factors affecting economic growth and development in Nigeria, which include terrorism, internal and external conflict, government expenditure, domestic investment, political stability, investment, and a mixture of public and private initiatives. The Nigerian government can revive manufacturing by creating a conducive environment, addressing production costs, and promoting key sectors. Industrial policies can play a key role in achieving this goal. Nigeria's development have been largely influenced by its natural resources, especially oil, leading to a robust economy driven by petroleum exports. However, dependence on oil has also caused economic instability due to fluctuating oil prices. Nigerians said they want better leadership. They also want good roads, health facility, constant electricity supply, affordable homes, security, quality education, and great human capital, which can drive the change that is needed. One of the best ways to build wealth is to live below your means. This means spending less money than you earn. There are a number of ways to live below your means, such as cooking at home, shopping at thrift stores, and using public transportation. If Nigerians plan to invest in inflation, they should reassess their available portfolios and diversify their investment. They need to avoid keeping capital idle when they can invest in real estate, bonds or dollars and hedge inflation. Money invested outpaces inflation and helps one accumulate wealth. Nigeria is famous for its beautiful landmarks, delicious cuisine, and its rich culture and traditions. Nigeria is known worldwide for being home to some iconic landmarks. These include the stunning Takwa Bay, the prominent Aso Rock, and the Third Mainland Bridge, which is the longest bridge in West Africa. Policy actions or economic reforms must be predicated on inclusion, transparency, and accountability to revive Nigeria's dwindling economy.
Welcome back. What a wonderful piece by Teslim Ajayi. And there's nothing I would want to say now than to just pass the buck to our guest who is itching to get cracking. And the whole essence, he has given you the tip before. So we want to see how we can revamp the Nigerian economy. Like I said some few weeks ago, we are facing a situation of a galloping economy whereby prices are just jumping up like horse, the way horse gallops in a race. And it's quite frightening, but I know that you are someone whose voice is very, 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 very strong in this regard. I want to hear your voice and your take concerning this galloping economy before we now go coasting home into revamping it.
Okay, yes. Revamping the economy will mean that the people of this country are largely disempowered. That's where the problem is. Okay? And the reason they are disempowered is because of the failure of leadership. Because people cried out not too long ago to the federal government and said, see, we need palliatives. Your policies and decision of floating the naira and at the same time removing subsidy has cost us heavy burden. And as such, we need palliatives. And the federal government said, go come and see the records. We have increased your allocation. Go and meet your governors. Because the federal government like throwing money at things. And when they want to do that, they give it to governors. And that's exactly where the problem is. Nigerians are largely disempowered as a result of the current policy of government. What must the government do? The federal government, not the state government now. The federal government must look for a creative way to empower the citizens. Must look for a way to ensure that those who are in business get soft loan. Those who are in trade get the same. Those who are largely disempowered as a result of age get palliative. Those who are disempowered as a result of the fact that they are not up to age. Some are extremely old. Some are not up to age. Some are in between. Some want to work, there's no job. Some cannot work because they are disabled. So all that put together as a collective, if your policy has in one way or the other truncated the people's means of income, because perhaps of the level of thoughtlessness that went into the policy, you must recompense, because the security and welfare of the people is the primary purpose of government. So you must come up with programs that will empower them. If it's not loan, if it's whatever it is, you have to do that. In so doing, you would have created a value chain whereby the economy will resuscitate. Because people have no disposable income. And any country where people are unable to eat, you are not going to have peace. If you look at the works of one of the philosopher that I read, he said, anywhere where there is no peace emanating from followership, you cannot have good leadership. That means the leaders cannot have peace if the people are not satisfied with level of another. So if we must revamp the economy, we must begin to look at that direction. We must begin to also look at the area of production, okay, and people's productivity. There are people who have learned skills, they have good skill sets, they have no electricity. There's no power for them to practice their trade. I remember when one of our senior lawyers were kidnapped. One very prominent lawyer was kidnapped some years ago. Because of the way he was rough handled through the bush, he became sick. He became sick. So one of the kidnappers went and bought and set drip on him. Yes, set drip. They gave him medication. One of them is a medical doctor.
Oh, wow.
He set drip on him. Yeah, they treated malaria and typhoid in the bush while they were demanding for ransom. Because they know that he's the focal point, he's the fulcrum of their this thing. And the negotiation is already going well. So they treated him. He came out very strong. You know, that tells you that skill sets are misplaced. These persons have gone to school, some have learned.
Yes.
They offer robbery when they were interviewing them. One of them is a welder. The other is a mechanic. They are people that have skills.
Yes.
Okay? I'm not saying that criminality should be condoned. People who have skills and they don't have what they are doing right now should go and steal. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying people are forced into some of these things because the economy is not set in a way that will occupy people in work. Right now, if the government is able to put things in order, the state government, the sub-regional government, will need to do that. From the local government to the state government to the federal government, we must come to a point where governance will be people-driven, people-focused. Because it is the lack of this, that is why we don't have the desired result we have in our country. And the analysis will not be complete if it's not solution-driven. And government will need to be called to it. Then the citizens themselves must find a way to help themselves. Okay?
How do you mean by that?
Yes, we have arable land. Okay? If you're in the city and you think that you are not able to meet up because the requisite facility to carry out your trade is not there, you can move to the suburb and undertake agricultural activities. People don't need to be in one location all the time. Sometimes their destiny is somewhere, their calling is somewhere. This is about the people now. Because in the absence of government doing what they ought to do, or while we wait for the government, the people have to brace up to the challenge of now. And that is why in some places, in some economy, people are taught self-reliance. Like in Russia, when you graduate from school, you have to enroll in the army for the first 5 years. In that first 5 years, if you want to proceed, fine. If you don't want to proceed, you can stop on there. But that gives you the capacity to develop and rely on yourself so that at any point in time in your life, you have already been instilled with the skills of self-reliance. Because if the government will suddenly fail, it does not mean the people should die. Because if you look at Nigeria, we have very successful people. We have individual success stories, literally all over the place. I mean, but that collective success story is what we don't have. And that is because we don't have leadership. So if people have by their own, even in this level of what do you call it, problems and wranglings and all that, if people have succeeded on their own individual here and there, it means the country holds somebody, everybody can succeed. But you will need leadership to do that. But in the absence of leadership and in the interim, let those who have succeeded and those who have not succeeded team up so that we'll come to a point of equilibrium. Now, the level of disequilibrium is so high. That is why crime is high. That is why you cannot even dress properly and drive around the city with your mind intact and put together. Because there are people who believe that they are suffering because of your lifestyle, erroneously. Okay, so we have come to that point in our country where if the government does not decide now to do what it ought to do, because it keeps doing it the wrong way, governors already cannot account, many governors cannot account for their allocations every month. They are the regular and constitutionally,
quite obvious.
You know, they can't account for it. Some pay half salary, some don't pay salary at all. Yes, they just do what they like.
I want to
now,
ask,
the federal government is giving them more to mismanage. Whereas the federal government could have set up organized people according to their age. The youths, children, the elderly, from the local government to the state government, and carry out their own programs. If the state like, let them do their own. If the local government let them do their own. But let the federal government make a statement. We can have these programs, empowerment programs for people, and it's very important.
I would actually ask a question based on this revamping. Now, there are two things that always come to my mind that I feel that is one of Nigeria need to really focus on. And that number one is education, and the second one is tourism. Because we tend to forget all about tourism, and we have a lot of sites that, you know, tourists can actually explore and can make a lot of money, bring big revenues to the country. Now, what aspect do you think, in these two now, do you actually agree with that? And if you agree with that, how can the government work with these two to make sure that there should be a revamping to add to the revamping?
That is why I said the government must look for a creative way. Now you are developing on that, because tourism is critical to every economy. Imagine if the Nigerian government from every state get maybe 20 writers each from the 36 states. Set up a program for them, a research team. Let them write on all the sites, tourist sites we have in Nigeria. Like just pick one, go there, visit the look and feel of the place, go around. All of you do what you write, how you feel about this tourist center, and we have a website we're uploading everything, and all over the world people are reading about it. People are reading about it. People are curious. People want to see what it is that is coming out there. Imagine the value chain. People will start, of course, when they want to come into the country, they are going to apply for visa. Revenue will come in. When they get in, they are going to lodge in hotels. When they lodge in, revenue will come in. People work in those hotels. Those that work in those hotels have dependents. The dependents have dependents. So the value chain begin to trickle down. Yes, you begin to get, you know, yes, because logistics, our seaports will be affected, our airports will be affected, the citizens who work there will be affected, and things like it's something you don't need to go and buy writers. We have writers. Yes, the National Orientation Agency empower them to do, you know, documentaries about those sites. Okay, then you open up the space, let people see the other side of the country that take care of insecurity, at least reasonably repress, you know, their activity. Then you will see that you have, that's talking about tourism. Then education is one of the most, education is the ornament of prosperity and refuge in adversity. Anywhere in the world, even from the Holy Read down to everywhere. I understand through books, Daniel. When the people were confused and they came to Jesus, there was this man married him and he said, have you not read? It's about reading, even God. It's about, you have information. It's critical. The difference between the rich and the poor is information they are working with. Okay? You cannot be better than what you know. Yes, life is not an accident. It's a process. So, and the laws of outcome, one of the paramount laws of outcome is that you learn in dialectical materialism. It says that every process and forms have contradictions. Okay, but your ability to take care of the contradictions in every formation is what will bring you to the fore, and that is what will create the brand in anything you do. So if we create those brands and we are selling the positive side of our country to the world, already people are curious about Nigeria. Just by the human capital, anywhere they see a Nigerian, they are smart. People want to come to that source to see why these people are born smart. Why? Whether they are schooled or not. In fact, Harvard came to Onitsha to understudy this partnership, this apprenticeship system. And the skill set of the apprenticeship system of the Igbo land. And they name it the surest way of creating wealth now in the world. It does not fail. The owner of the business that's a master, he goes to the village, he takes two of the one boy, he brings them to Lagos. They start trading with him. They began to learn the skill. They learn the skill to a point where he discovered that one of them have really perfected the skill. He opens a shop, his own shop, another shop. He takes that one and put there, more like a youth service arrangement. Then that one stays there, begin to trade. The Oga goes and brings some people under him. So when they begin to trade and they're able to master it, he pulls him out,
Set him up.
set him up, settle him.
And
He
that
starts
is all.
himself go to the village, get some
Pick
umu boy.
somebody.
Yeah.
That is how is the surest. For some people, where you have 10 generations of poverty, he is poor. His father was poor. His great grandfather was poor. His grandfather was poor. His generation, 10 generations
poverty.
were poor. It takes a lot to break out of poverty. In Lagos, already there's a research that it takes an average of 20 years to break out from poverty, because the host of poverty is as strong as anything. So, if we are going to develop all those things that are indigenous to us, we should be able to put them together. You understand? If you read the Egyptian hieroglyphics, you will notice how that Pythagoras, okay, Chaos, algebra, calculus, they all study arithmetic in Egypt, in Africa.
Yes.
But today, we are taught that angle of mathematics as if it's a product of the West.
Almost. It's true.
Because that which belongs to us, we have not been able to maximize it. In Nigeria, for example, we have a lot of, they say somewhere in Anambra, they were arresting native doctors. I say, why are you arresting them? They say, because some of them are doing blood money for people, and they say, don't arrest them. We can draw out solutions. We can gather all the native doctors in one community. Let them invoke whatever they invoke. Invoke the heavens, the atmosphere, the stratosphere.
Do something different.
We will capture all the power, put it in one box, and use it to solve the problem here. There was a time the white men came from to our villages to buy those gods.
Yes, yes.
And invoke the power therein to do whatever it is. I don't know what it is they do, but there's value even in what you think there's no value. Look at our very good music. Someone was talking about Victor White for the other day. Someone was talking about the Akpala music. These things are dying before us. The founders of those kind of creative art, the federal government should, take over their houses, not buy it off, but decorate it as the sites. As one of the founders of the Akpala music, one of the so it becomes tourism. So everywhere you turn to, you are seeing touristic sites, you are seeing history. Just like the white people, they keep records. Anywhere you turn to, you see something that is appealing, something that's amazing. That is how to grow. There are countries that have no natural resources. All they have done is to put together that which they have, historical, present, put them together in forms, brand them, and begin to offer it to the world. So you look at Israel, for example. Israel does not have unemployment. There's no unemployment in Israel as we speak. What do they have? Their land is not even, it's irrigation. It's irrigation they used to. What they have is biblical sites. And that alone sustains them. And even agricultural produce, which you don't even have the fertile land for, they export to most of the countries in the Middle East. You understand? And it's just a small place. But they're able to put all that into use. But we have massive land here, arable land, so many, and then we are not harnessing it. We are not doing the right thing. So we must come to that point where if we are talking about our economy, it should not be we against them. We, then government. No. You must be doing something that contributes to the development of the economy. Talking about the people. So that you can have the moral rectitude to call out government. To say that this is what I do. But you have not given me electricity to process. To take it further.
I told you, if you allow Evans, he go just they go, they bring,
so we have to
just the trash, really full of ideas. And this is what we are saying. There are some of us that are technocrats and will be able to do a whole lot of things in revamping the economy. Evans is one of such people. But again, I just want to ask, now that we have gotten to that level, because what we see is that we're running a lazy or a prodigal son economy, where there is a total dependence on oil and that's all. And you have enumerated about 2 or 3 issues that if government focus on, they will improve the system. And of course, even if it's just science and technology, or even just technology alone, every time government will come out with the policy that yes, they want to improve technology, but at the end of the day, the whole amount of money spent on it, there's nothing. There is a lot here of cry when one young man, young man, Tijani or Tijani was made the minister of, is it Tijani now? Or Tijani, I guess, the minister of
Science and technology.
Science and technology also. And of course, the noise was that, yeah, he's going to do a great lot of things. But so far, we have not heard anything. And to me, it's another good way, because India thrives from the income from technology. And you see most of the computers, most of the laptops, most of the
even cars,
and cars
they have
improved on it. So what is stopping Nigeria? Or that was the first leg. Then the second leg will we the people, despite the fact that government has not created the enabling environment. I do not think that the government created the enabling environment for great technical or technology giants like Bill Gates and the other guy who to try. Are we lazy too on our part?
Yes, you see, those, you see, Bill Gates and the rest of them you talked about, their government laid the foundation for them.
Okay.
You see, there's what they call the laws of outcome. Nothing comes from nothing. In Nigeria, we are expected to implement the SDG goals, you know, which for the universal basic education, from the UN level, they introduce STEM education. That is what is going now.
Okay.
Science, technology, and maths, engineering and maths. That's the model now. Now, if you go to most of our schools, they are not implemented. It's not implemented. Now, tell me how a 6-year-old now will be able to compete with a 6-year-old.
No.
That's, you see the foundation I'm talking about. Okay? The laws of outcome says that it is input that determines throughput, that determines output. Okay? So the throughput is the process. What is injected into the child when he's going through the process. So that is why when you see Americans, they go to school to a point, they just drop out. They feel that they are okay. That it's not a certificate. At this level, I can do this thing. So they move on. When you drop out here, because some people say, see, big age, didn't go to school. See, they drop out. You are not looking at the environment. You are not looking at what.
Don't be like that.
Yes, the short period they went to school, you are not looking at what their government invested. That made them to even say, you know what? Let me give up this thing. I could do this thing with what I have already. That's the mentality. But here we think that you can just drop, use them as example. You will be stranded because we don't have the kind of preparation they have. We have not gone through the kind of environment and the aspiration that they have. We don't have it. So that is why it calls for education to be total. It's not enough to start reading things that are no longer relevant. When you come out, you go and do a master's on that same thing, you do a PhD, you start to wear time and be walking all over the place. At the end of the day, there's no work. Then Dangote want to employ as drivers, as a PhD holder, you now go and apply. And begin to drive, and now say the news will not be all over the place that PhD holder. Did you do what you are supposed to do? You understand? So let us study. The world is going somewhere. This is the astronomical age. This is when you are supposed to take children between the ages of 5 and 8. Give them good ICT education. ICT education. Everybody have talent. Talent is sprinkled. The Almighty is so benevolent with talent. So He sprinkled it across the stratosphere. Everybody have it. But you know, there's a place for training. There's a place for process. So if you don't have the training, you don't have the process. How do you manage talent? You need to enroll your talent into process. And that process, you need to pull out the real ingenuity in that person through training before the person is able to explore. But where you have schools where children are sitting on the floor, there was a school we went to the other time to do empowerments for the children. The children were learning under the tree in Kogi State. They learn under the tree. So when you compare that child with a child elsewhere, you can be telling that child that, see Big Gate, he drop out from this thing. See you can't do that. You understand? I mean, I've been to countries where I stood somewhere trying to get a bus to somewhere, and children were coming out from school, and I looked at the place. The place they were coming out from looked like a bank. They said it's a school. I said, this is a school. They say it's a school. Children. So you cannot.
And they were lining up to get into a school bus.
Get into a school bus. That's how it should be. And they have all the gadgets and technologies, everything, all the apps, all the applications for STEM education.
Let me just. Since you touch where it's paining me, or you have touched my injury, you have added salt to it, and it's paining me now. University graduates, some of them are seeing computers after they graduated.
Yes.
They did computer education on the blackboard or on the board without computer.
Yes.
Maybe at best, some of them, if they have this Android
phone,
now,
yes.
maybe that's the only thing that they will have as computer. And we want to compete. Is it possible? And meanwhile, there is big money in this issue. Just as you said some few seconds ago, a whole lot, all of us, there is hardly anybody that does not have more than 5 ideas that is called talent. And that's why God used that proverb of the talent in the Bible about everyone being given a talent or the other. Where I'm going now is that if government is not, that's why I raised that issue in the first instance, if government does not create the enabling environment, because you are seated here, I'm sure government did not help you to becoming a lawyer. No. Government did not help you to become...
They almost stopped me.
Wait now.
Barrister.
But despite all odds, let's put it that way, despite every situation, the economy, the situation, the circumstances, here you are. And you are not just a lawyer. You are a role model, you are a community leader, you are a motivational speaker, you are a influencer, you are a whole lot of things. Apart from being a lawyer, and of course an activist, you went through the crucible, a whole lot of stumbling blocks.
Yes.
I know there is someone who is listening or watching us. That's why I want you to talk to staff person, because you talked about not just dropping out. How they can now sit and be like a prodigal son. I will arise and go to my father. They should arise. Is there a way that people can now put on something and say, no, I'm not giving up. I must succeed, not through the foul means. I'm sure, as an activist, let me just rub it in. I've gone to the prison several times, not as a prisoner, but in the course of my activism, see people, young guys, what brought you here? My father did not send me to school. My mother is dead. My stepmother was treating me bad, and I jumped into the street. And I found myself here because I had to pinch or I want to steal, and all. Please talk to our people in this regard.
Yes, you see, even if the government is not responsible enough, I mean, the Supreme Court recently said that the actions of the government is irresponsible in one case. And they violate a lot of fundamental rights of
even
people.
our freedom to life, right to life.
Yes, the right to life. Our right to life has been threatened already. That is the government being in dereliction of its duty. So despite they put the government aside, okay, then parentage, your parents don't have enough, or perhaps they are late, they are not able to take care of you. You see, you have the capacity. For some of us who were born in the barracks, and that went to military school, one of the things the military discipline will teach you self-reliance. Yes, sometimes where they give us case scenarios, put us in preliminary dangers, and see how we'll be able to on our own pull over the distress, go a bit forward, come back to help others out. They want to see your capacity. It's from the mind. So that is why sometimes you enroll in the Boy Scouts and the Girls Guide. It prepares you for life, even though those things are not really very common now. But you can build it yourself. You can speak to yourself and say, you know what? Is it this thing I want to become?
Yes.
I want to become a nurse. I want to become a lawyer. I want to become a medical doctor. It's possible.
Doable.
All things are possible, but it's only possible to those that believe. So it starts from the mind. It starts from your resolution. Because whatever you concoct in your mind, he is that which he thinks in his mind. Whatever you process, the energy of the cosmic administration of the universe will get into your thoughts. What all imagination is simply nitrogen. That force and energy in it, when it gets into your thought process, it gets into your faith. and you walk towards it consistently. Look every day, make an inch. Every day, read something. Every day, practice something. That thing you want to become. Yes, if you don't have the means, go to where they are doing that thing and tell them that you want to do it for free. You want to be in this, you want to do it. So keep doing it, keep learning, keep reading. If you're able to put 10,000 hours, there's a research that if you're able to put 10,000 hours of anything in the world, including law, medicine, anything, 10,000 hours will mean that you are an expert there. Start small. Don't neglect the days of little beginnings. You see, even God in heaven likes the days of little beginnings. That he sees you faithful and diligent in what you are doing. That in due time, you will find yourself sitting before kings and not mere men. All he requires from you is diligence. All he requires from you is diligence, focus. You know, take it as if your life depends on it. That is what I did. This law, I wrote jams and all. They gave me courses. I told them, you see what, I don't give me any course. There's a reason I feel what I feel. So you cannot come and tell me I should go and read this and that. It does not work like that. You see that this or nothing. And I stood by it and I got it. I told you, I said, when I read that, I said, thank God I have graduated. But this is you guys have made a mistake. I will come back at you. And the first thing I did was, whilst I was in school, the people who frustrated me, who wanted me to fail, who didn't, my landlady that who threw me out of the house, I sued everybody. I filed 6 cases in one day. Yes, I was less than a month at the bar. Yes, I filed 6 cases one day. I wasn't filing to win. Yes, I went back at them. You understand? You must discipline yourself and ensure that you do that which you ought to do, no matter the odds.
Thank you. I'm very grateful for his own story. I'll call it a testimony because a lot of people told that line and they said Nigeria changed my destiny. I wanted to be a nurse, but I ended up being a lab technician. So it's a whole lot of stuff. I'm grateful that you stick to what you wanted to do and you came out. And there's one thing I learned. You said you cannot be more than what you know. Yes. I like that. And that's a take home for everybody. But at this point, I'll say thank you so much, Barrister Evans. We're looking out for you. Of course, we're bringing him back, right?
Yeah, we're going to bring him back because, I told you now, if it just starts, you don't know how to hold my word. And of course, time no the reach will
at all. It's never enough. So, that's why no break.
He too, he just touched me again in my injury. That's how I started. I started my legal activism and my life generally as a pro bono person. From my kid level, I was fighting. Anytime there is anybody who is bullying anybody near me, I will come up. It doesn't matter if the person can kill me. I will say, why will you touch that person? Because he has no strength, and I'll fight for him. And today I'm a fighter, and I've started long time in Imo River. And here we are today. What is it that is your trait in you? Please promote it.
Promote it, please. It's very interesting.
Promote it.
Anyway, thank you so much for coming. And thank you, everybody, for joining us. I hope you learned. There's no I hope, Seth. You must definitely have learned a whole lot of things today because I actually did. My name is Rose Blossom. The end of the program for today. Until next week, have a beautiful weekend.
Yes, beautiful weekend. With the Evans took everybody to by storm. Nobody had time to even type anything. So you were not able to type or send any text message. Don't worry. We will expect your text message next time. Till then, don't be on the other side of law. Just as Evans has told us, you revamp your life. Once you revamp your life, the economy is revamped and Nigeria will be better. Ask those musicians, all these boys who ordinarily have been thugs and so on. See them now, they are superstars. They are riding and buying millions of naira worth of vehicles, buying big time chain, putting on their necks. You think saying as small money be those chains? But again, you can be if you decide that yes, I'm going to be. Not only music, any other thing. My sister here is a broadcast journalist now, and you know, definitely very soon she will be on top because she has not removed her hand from the plow. Till then,